In this video we're going to be making ourselves this colourful logo for a make-believe company called Mystic. Okay, that's basically a hexagon shape that we split up using a grid into little triangles. We remove some of those triangles and colour the rest in, and we're left with this M shape, which does stand for the word Mystic. Let's pop over to Adobe Illustrator and we'll get started on making it. Make a new document today and we'll just call it a Mystic logo. And the profile is obviously a print profile, because we will want to print this logo eventually. Just one artboard today, set to A4 size. We'll use landscape format and throw on a 3mm bleed. CMYK color mode down the bottom with 300 pixels per inch. That's our resolution. Click OK when you're done and you get your artboard on the page. First thing we're going to do is go to our toolbox, pick up the rectangle tool, make sure you've got no fill color and you've got a black stroke set to 1 point. And just hold shift and draw yourself a rectangle about that size on the page. Once you've got that drawn on, make sure it's still selected, go up to your object menu, select path and go to split into grid. When this dialog box appears, check the preview button so you can see the changes you make and simply bump up the number of rows to 5. Okay, you'll have a grid looking like this. Click OK, and before you deselect, just go to object and group those lines together. This is the grid we're going to be using in just a moment, so just bump it to the side for a second. We'll come back to it shortly. Next thing we're going to do is go back to our Shapes tool, hold our mouse down and select the Polygon tool. With the Polygon tool, click once on your page and make yourself a 6-sided polygon, obviously a hexagon. That's going to appear on your page. With the hexagon selected, just remove the stroke and select a fill color. I'm going to select that nice turquoise greeny blue color there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now is bring my grid back over and I'm going to get the top of this hexagon lined up with the top of this grid. Okay, and I also want it in the center of that grid, so I'm going to pick it up and drag it over. Okay, it should say the word intersect when you're in the center, just like that. So you've got the line across the top perfectly done, and we've got it in the center of that box. Just going to zoom in a little bit here so you can see what's happening a bit clearer. Next thing I'm going to do is just click on this grid in the background and just bring up the bottom so it snaps onto the polygon. And next I'm going to click on the polygon. Actually, sorry, the grid again. Hold down the Alt key and just stretch out one of the sides, and that should take us all the way out to the edge of the polygon. And now our polygon sides fit perfectly inside our grid. With our grid still selected, just right click on one of the lines and go to Arrange and bring to front. We want that grid in front of the polygon. Now if the grid's still selected, what I want to do is go to Edit and Copy, and then Edit, Paste in front. And that pastes a copy right on top of the other one in front of it. With the black arrow or selection tool still selected, just hover off one of the corners and rotate that shape. And what we want to do is get this edge here lined up perfectly with this side of the hexagon. So you're going to have to zoom in a bit here to make sure you get this right. See, there's a little bit of white space down here still, so I'm going to give it a bit more of a rotate. I might need to zoom out a little bit. Not much of a rotate, but that looks like it's got it. Okay, zooming in, I can see now that my black line runs straight along the edge of the green polygon. So that looks pretty good. Now we need to do that one more time, but we need to match the grid up with this left side of the polygon. So I'm going to click on my grid that I just rotated. I'm going to go to Edit and Copy, and then Edit, Paste in front. Okay, so we have another copy here right on top of the other turned one. And I'm just going to do the same again. I'm going to rotate it and try and line it up with the edge of the polygon. Okay, I'm going to have to zoom in here again and just make sure we're getting pretty close. So I'm looking at this line running along here and it's looking pretty good. I can't see any white gaps. I think we might have got it in one. Yeah, close enough. So I'm just going to press Ctrl-0 to go back to full screen here. I'm going to have a look at what I've got. I think it's looking good now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to click back on the original grid in the background. So it's still got the square shape that hasn't been rotated. Hopefully you can see that I've got that selected there. And I'm going to zoom in over onto this corner. What I'm going to do is just drag this straight up. Try not to move it. It's just got to come straight up until it snaps right onto that point, and now you can see we've got these perfect triangle shapes being formed. That's what we're looking for there. Okay, we've got a nice little intersection of lines running through here that allows these triangles to form throughout our grid. So pressing Ctrl 0 again to zoom back out, it's now time to colour the triangles in. So I'm going to go across to my toolbox and select the Shape Builder tool. Okay, it's two little circles with an arrow on top if you can't see it. From my swatches panel, I'm just going to pick up any colour. It doesn't matter what colour you pick here. And press Ctrl A or go up to your select menu and select all just to highlight everything. And now when I hover over these triangles, or any shape for that matter, you can see that you can click on these and colour them in. We need to go around every triangle now that you can see, every whole triangle, and colour it in. A little bit tedious, but won't take you too long. You're not going to colour in absolutely every part of the green because some of these triangles along the top and the bottom aren't complete, so we don't want to colour those in. Okay, so it's going to be looking something like that once you've coloured them in. Okay, the next step, what we're going to do is just grab our black arrow. I'm going to click and drag over the top of these black lines at the top. Don't go into the green section, just the black lines at the top. Let go of your mouse and you'll see all these selections be made. What we're going to do is right click on any one of those lines and go to Ungroup. Okay, and what you can do now is simply click and drag over the top of those black lines and even the green section now and press delete. And that's just going to delete the unwanted lines and the unwanted shapes from our logo here. Okay, just be careful you don't get any of the pink ones. We don't want to lose any of them. Eventually you're going to end up with a shape like this. So I might just press Ctrl A to select all and just make this a bit bigger now so we can get a better idea of what's going on. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is remove some of these triangles, just the bits we don't need, so we can make our shape complete. And we'll get this letter M appear. So I'm going to click on this triangle here and press delete. Oh, that didn't work like I wanted it to. There we go. Delete that one, and that one. I'm going to go do the same on the other side, so I'll have to delete that one, that one, that one, that one, and I'm going to delete this bottom one. So you can already see our M shape appearing. Just at the top two, you want to delete this one in the middle, and there's the M shape we're looking for. Okay, if you want, you can highlight that, stretch it out a little bit. So I'd probably hold the Alt key and just stretch him a little bit. Don't go too overboard with it. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. The next thing you want to do is a little bit hard to tell, but there is actually some lines and dots just hiding behind this shape that we want to delete. So as annoying as it is, you're going to have to click on each of these triangles one by one while holding the Shift key down. So I'm going to click on this first triangle once, hold Shift, just race through and click on the pink part of all these triangles in our shape, and that's going to select them all individually. Okay, now they're all selected. Just move it off to the side for a moment. We'll bring it back in a minute. Oops, we forgot a triangle. Better select it and try again. So you can see all these little dots and whatnot appearing. So I'm going to highlight just that area and press delete. And now they're gone. So I can press Ctrl A to select my shape again. Bring it back over and drop it somewhere in the center like that. Now we get to colour in these different colours. Okay, instead of just having the plain pink colour, we're going to use some different colours. And a good way to pick some colours that work well together is by using this option here, the Colour Guide panel. The Colour Guide picks colours that are known to work well together, and you're not just limited to these 4 or 5 colours. Click on the down arrow and you get some different options, okay, that relate to this pink. So let's go through our list here and have a look what we've got to work with. Okay, I might just choose this pentagram at the bottom. Doesn't look too bad. I might give it a go. I'm going to use these lightish colours here, not the too vibrant ones. They could look a little bit tacky as a logo, so I'll just choose these lighter ones, I think. So to colour in, I want to make a mirror image on each side of the M. So I'm going to select this first triangle, hold Shift and select this second triangle on the other side. And I'm going to make them that light pink. And I'll do the ones above it, make them orange. And I'm just going to simply go through these colours one by one and colour them in. When I get to the end of that row, I'm just going to go back the other way. So back up again to the greens, and go to the yellows, and to the orange, and then back to the light pink. Okay, and once I'm there, I'll just turn around and go again to the orange, to the yellow, to the green. Hey, that's one way to come up with a colour scheme. Hey, it looks a little bit out there, a bit crazy, but I don't think it looks too bad either. I don't like the stroke on this. I think the stroke will look better if I get rid of it. So I'm just going to select it all and remove my stroke. I'll say no stroke for that. Yeah, that does look a lot nicer when I get rid of that stroke. And what we've got left to do really is basically add in some text down the bottom. So I'm going to go up the top and go to View and select Rulers and show my rulers. I'll just press Ctrl R. And I want my rulers at the start of this first triangle at the bottom, so just down here I want it. And then I'm going to drag a second ruler on the page and drop it at the end of this first triangle about there. And I want my text to fit perfectly inside of there. Alright, so to do that, grab my text tool. I should make it fit actually, I'll do that in a moment. I'm going to write the word Mystic because that's the name of our company. I'll just stretch this box out so it fits perfect between those lines. And while I've got Mystic selected, I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to make it a bit bigger. So I'm going to go up to about 18 point. And from my character option here, I'm going to change my font to Palatino Linotype. It's a font I chose a bit earlier that I thought looked alright. And I'm going to change the tracking, which is this little one here. Okay, I'm going to set it to begin with to 2000. So it's a pretty big number. What it's doing is putting space between each letter. 2000 obviously wasn't anywhere near enough, so we're going to have to go a bit bigger. Let's try 3000. Might even make my size a little bit bigger to try and fit this in. And now it's just a matter of getting this right, so I might try 3200. We've almost got it now. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I've just gone about a bit over 3200 for my tracking. Last thing I'll do is change my colour, so back up to my colour guide, and I'll just choose like a greyish kind of colour, just a light grey. There we go, looks good. With these rulers, you can click on these rulers or guides. You can even select both of them if you drag over the top of them and just press delete. That gets rid of them. Okay, so pressing Ctrl 0, that just zooms out and I can see my entire logo now. Doesn't look too bad. I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, so if you've got that all done, just go to File, Save As, save it as an AI file in your account, call it Mystic Logo. And if that box comes up, just click OK. And that's it.